Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock. Let's go over the market. Let's talk about what happened on Friday. Today's obviously Sunday. I had to record this a little bit later because, well, I was preoccupied on Friday, to put it simply. So regardless, we'll talk about Friday's price action and what I pretty much expect moving into this week. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, I do have a membership section on YouTube. The link is down below, where I share my TA, my charts, updates, etc. on mainly Tesla stock and sometimes other bonus stocks as well. Lately, I've been sharing a lot of bonus stocks actually, but yeah, just $3 a month or for $5, access to all that plus NVIDIA daily updates. But jumping into a Tesla closing the day with an absolutely phenomenal 5% rally, closing at pretty much $390 per share, which compared to the market is obviously a bit of an outperformance. Now, Tesla towards the end of the day actually did have a pretty nice sizable rally, right? For the most part of the day, kind of came back down and, we'll go to the 1 hour, right? And in the first hour or two, this is what I told my members, it pretty much came down to just retest this old area, right? Because this area right here, you can see as we were more or less bull flagging, was resistance. And then we came down, pretty much turned into support, absolute classic. And we, of course, had a nice little continuation rally to end of the day. Now, the question I'm sure a lot of people are wondering is just, well, how much more juice is there left to squeeze, right? How much higher can it really go? Because nothing can only just go up. Like at some point, I want to make it clear, at some point, this rally, it will end. It will end and it will correct. It absolutely, I promise you, it will happen. The question is just when and how much higher before it even begins to happen, right? That's the main question. Well, the way to really, again, just this is the way I'm looking at it, right? I'm trying this very simple but effective strategy where unless certain rules that I have are broken, I assume the trend will continue to be up or worst case scenario sideways before pretty much going back up, right? And the simple strategy is just really, you have this, let me remove this for now. Actually, no, I will. I'll keep it. You have this green line and you have the red line and even the white line down here, right? But the main ones you want to look for are the green and the red, right? It's a 9 EMA and the 21 EMA. Pretty simple stuff as long as they're crossed, number one. So the green above the red, bullish. But especially so as long as Tesla maintains, in this case, during this obviously very powerful momentum upwards, as long as it maintains above the green, right? You can see we did close below it here, but it was a small close. And, in my opinion, it was a bit of a bear trap, honestly, but we reclaimed it right away the next day. And then bam, you're good to go. But essentially, it's pretty simple. As long as you maintain above, ideally, the green, the short-term momentum is very bullish. Not just bullish, but I would argue very bullish, right? And so far, we've been maintaining it almost to perfection ever since this close on this daily candle here. Massive gap up, came back down to retest that, came back down to retest that, came back down to retest that on the news of Elon not getting his pay package, which is an entry I'm pretty sad I missed, I'll be completely honest. I still have my long-term shares, of course, but I did miss this on my trading account, which I'm not going to lie, a little bit disappointed about that. That was before I was really paying attention to this strategy. Anyway. But the point is we're holding it. We're not going below it. And again, it's pretty simple. As long as we maintain above, especially the green line, there's absolutely zero reason to even remotely be, bearish on Tesla. Now, of course, the one thing that you can't argue is quote unquote bearish, very short term is, well, okay, when Tesla or any stock really gets too far away on the daily chart from this green line, right? That's when you expect it to correct. For instance, here, you can see we got very far away from the green line and we corrected back to it. Here we started getting a little bit farther away, corrected back to it. And now we are getting pretty extended, right? We are getting pretty extended. We are getting pretty far away from that daily 9 EMA. So I guess you can argue that is that technically short-term bearishness, if you will, because it is just a little too overextended now because it's too far away from a very short-term moving indicator, right? It's a 9 EMA. That's a pretty aggressive short-term. So even being away too far from this, you can argue is technically short-term bearish, right? Because, it most likely will some point soon-ish correct back down to it. But again, even if we correct back down to it, and even if we do that and we, make our way back down, so let's say, 370, let's say something like that. As long as we maintain above it, I'm bullish, right? And I just expect us to continue moving higher to the next pivot point and the pivot point after that and the pivot point after that. 400 being the next one, of course, which we're pretty close after hours from what I've seen. And the main one, of course, being pretty much all-time high, sitting closer to $415 to even $420 per share. And that's the main thing I'll be looking at. Now, the next thing to look at is, of course, the red line, the 21 EMA. We haven't got to it yet, but there's plenty of stocks that have gotten to it, that have bounced off of it. So for instance, like Spotify did it here. There's probably a few more examples I can take a look at. Let's take a look at like this one, this KMI one, for instance, right? It's not always perfectly going to hold the 9 EMA. Sometimes it'll lose it and then it'll come right back down to the 21 EMA, but it'll just bounce right off of it like this did pretty much 2 times. You can see right here and right here, right? So that can happen with Tesla. That's kind of why I'm bringing it up, right? That is a possibility. But the overall thesis is as long as we're above both of them, is very bullish. As long as we're above the green one, especially, it's extra bullish. However, if we lose the green one, okay, maybe some bullish momentum, the very aggressive bullish momentum is starting to, fade a bit, right? But if we also lose the red line, the 21 EMA, then the bullish momentum is really fading. And if we lose the bottom one down here, which is the 50 EMA, then we really truly lost the bullish momentum. And now I'd be very, very cautious. And the worst case scenario is if all of these start flipping pretty much the opposite way. So the green is at the bottom, the red is in the middle, and the white is at the top. That'll be like, we're pretty much in bearish territory, right? That's obviously going to happen, or it'll take quite a bit for Tesla to get to that stage, if potentially ever really again, or anytime soon at least. But that's the very simple, very basic, just, not overcomplicating it with too many different indicators and too many different things. There's no reason to be bearish here, right? There's no reason to be bearish here other than the fact that we may expect to get a retrace back down closer to that 9 EMA, probably relatively soon in all honesty. But again, as long as we hold this 9 EMA, and especially as long as we're holding this 21 EMA, there's just no reason to be overall bearish on Tesla until at the very least we lose the 21 EMA, and especially if we lose the 50. So that's just a simple way to put it, right? That's a simple way to put it. Watch for potential further rally. But again, I do think it's a little bit short-term overextended, so watch for that. Another way to look at it is on the 1 hour. The 1 hour, you want to play a slightly different in a more aggressive way where, for instance, you can see, right, when essentially the green crosses below the red, you can see here, we downtrended, right? But then as the 9 EMA crossed the 21 EMA, right? The green crossing the red right here, and they both crossed the 50 EMA. That's a triple bullish crossover, nice gap up, and then it came back down to support, and then it moved up higher, right? So another way to put it short term on the 1 hour is if you ever see the green start crossing the red again on the short term on the 1 hour chart, momentum is fading. And especially if they both go below the white line, like you kind of saw over here, momentum is really, really fading, right? So, that's probably the things that you really, really want to watch out for. And that's probably the best and most simplest way to put it, especially on stocks that are, having this very powerful momentum. Very, very effective strategy. And there's really nothing more to it than that, right? Another example, just to show you the effectiveness of the strategy, is Shopify on the daily chart, right? Look at this absolute perfection, right? Look at this. Nice uptrend on this, green above red, essentially bearish crossover, some, potential, consideration there, but then crossed over and it's been hugging the green line ever since. And this breakout, if you played it, absolutely phenomenal returns, right? Absolutely phenomenal returns. And look how well it's been holding this, right? On this breakout on the earnings, and it's just been holding it superbly. I'm just bringing this up to show you just how powerful this strategy can be. And really just why I, value it so much when it comes to at least playing this very aggressive bullish momentum Tesla is currently experiencing, and to kind of get an idea as to, how much longer and what really is the trigger for it to continue being bullish and potentially even stop being bullish. And okay, now we're starting to lose that, truly lose the momentum. So that's probably the main way I'm looking at it and the main way I'm playing it without, again, overcomplicating it too much. Going into options flow, however, taking a quick look at Tesla, right? 1.1 million put actually instantly stands out to me, came in towards the end of the day for this coming Friday, actually, in the midst of a lot of bullishness though, of course, but this one really kind of stands out to me because most of the other bullishness, like this 1.2 million put or this 2.3 million call over here, or even this 1.5 million call, they're all 2025, right? Mini leaps, if you will, right? Now this one, of course, is not that much of a leap. It's only January, so it's like a month out. But nonetheless, most of them are like mini leaps, if you will. This one, however, this 1.1 million put came in pretty much right before the market closed for this coming week. It's essentially a 1 million weekly put. At 370 strike, a 375 strike, which is also out of the money. So this was actually catching my eye a bit. So that's why, again, he probably, or whoever's putting that trade in is probably thinking maybe something similar where it's a little too overextended short term, like very short term, because it's too far away from the daily 9 EMA, right? That's the main concern, especially with the gap up that we saw or the continuation we saw after hours when Friday closed. So just watch for that, right? Watch for that. But I do think it's a little overextended. But as long as we maintain above the 9 EMA and especially the 21, I see no reason to be bearish. I really don't see any reason to be bearish yet. Of course, things can change, but you kind of just ride the momentum until something tells you it's time to get off the train. And so far, there is absolutely nothing telling us to really just get off the train. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. Let me know what you think down below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Literally, actually Monday. Peace.